What's up, everybody? I am Councilman Dupré Kelly, and we are here with Conversations with the Councilman. Conversations with Councilman Kelly. And this is a special edition. I just want to say Happy Love Day to everybody. I know some of the people say Happy Valentine's, but whether you celebrate it or not, Happy Love Day. And that's what it's about love. So I have two people with me that have known me from childhood, one from birth.
Right.
And it's all about love, right? I have my Aunt Carol. How you doing?
Please.
I love you.
We love you more.
I have one of my mentors who is like a father figure in my life. You know, my brother, my mentor, Hafiz Fareed, Mr. Hafiz Fareed. Just want to say welcome.
Thank
I
you.
love you.
Much love.
And I just wanted to have a conversation with them about community, about what love looks like in the community, about being lifelong Newarkers, living in the West Ward, but all around Newark, and what that love looks like. So first, ladies first,
All righty.
introduce yourself.
I'm Auntie Carolyn Bethel, and I am very pleased with how you turned out, how you found yourself,
All right.
and how we raised you. It was a bunch of women. That
Yeah, I got
you.
raised by a bunch of women.
You wasn't a bad child, but you was mischievous sometimes.
I guess all of us young men, right?
Of course, until you find yourself.
Right.
But the most important thing is that you did find yourself and
You know
turned
what?
out to be.
That's interesting to me when you say find yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Until you found yourself. And I get it. I understand. And you say I wasn't a bad child, but I was mischievous. And it makes a lot of sense when I reflect back. I couldn't get the male examples because it was only women around me. Right? So that man thing that I needed, I had to go out and search for that. Hence, I found in this gentleman without realizing that I was looking for it.
Okay.
Right? Introduce yourself.
My name is Hafiz Fareed. I'm an artist, writer, filmmaker, and poet.
God bless you.
Former manager of Councilman Dupré Kelly, now formerly known. When I first met him, he was not even Lords of the Underground. I met him before Lords of the Underground. He was Do It All Do and the Wonder Twin.
And DJ
You're
Cut
right.
Killer.
You're right about that.
DJ Cut Killer,
Yeah.
and sometimes Red Man as the DJ. That's how far we go back.
Facts. What does loving your city look like, and what has changed from you being a young adult to one of our elders in our community now? And we'll start with you, Aunt Kyle.
It has changed from good to bad. We believe in working. I've been working since I was 11 years old in Mom's restaurant. You don't know nothing about that.
I heard the stories.
Right. Everyone just looked out for each other, but now they don't.
So you're saying that the love when you were younger looked like caring for one another, respecting
Exactly,
one another.
not look like it was.
So it's lost that now?
Yes. It's
What
gone.
you think? What you think, huh?
Like your aunt was saying, she just corrected you. It didn't look like love.
Mhm.
It was
It
love.
was love. Oof.
There is a great book, if you haven't read it, called The Art of Loving by a guy named Eric Fromm. And he says, love is demonstrative.
Mm-hmm.
You could say that you love flowers, but if you don't water the flowers, I would question your love for flowers.
All right now.
So like your aunt said, it was demonstrated. You know, if you, as a young boy, you was out 11, 12 years old playing with your friends and you didn't get home for dinner at that time, that person's mother would say, no, you stay here. We'll feed you. You eat no feed. I'll call you.
Exactly. Yes. Caring.
Not probably. You had
Caring
to
for
dial.
each other.
She had to
Yes.
dial up your mother.
Right.
You know,
Exactly.
Put a cell phone. Which
Yes.
he's over here. Don't worry about it.
Mhm.
You know, he's gonna be.
And it was
fed.
accepted. You
Right.
stayed there.
Right.
You said something that was that really almost gave me chill. You said that love was demonstrated.
All right now.
I didn't have a father, right? My father my biological father wasn't around. The only father that I really had was my stepdad, who stepped in, and stayed with me even after him and my mother didn't work out. He still stayed around. That's why that's my dad.
Right.
But my biological father tried to buy weed from me right here on 13th Avenue and 19th Street, looked me in my face and didn't recognize that I was his biological son. So the type of the trauma that you deal with that you don't even realize that you're dealing with, like having a dad becomes a rarity. Having somebody in your life to help you find that love in the community, find that love in the streets, to actually become a great resident, a great person in your neighborhood. You have to go through these trials and tribulations. What are some of the memories that actually are the base and the foundation of this city on what it has become?
Well, one is like that. That even though those fathers weren't in the households as commonly as they, wanted them to be, but there was always, God is great, God is graceful and merciful. There's always somebody in the neighborhood, because they were neighborhoods then. After the heroin and crack, they became hoods. So we had neighbors one time. And even if you didn't have the father, it was the teacher or the coach or the pastor in the community, in the church, who used to open up the church, not like now. The churches used to be open. Right. And a lot of them had basketball courts.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's right. Some of the older churches.
So the churches, they didn't care whether you was a member of that church or not. You could come to the church.
Right.
So that was the center of our life. And so there was always men, even though they may not have been, like you said, they were father figures, and you would be blessed to find them if you were looking. And if your heart was open, you found me.
Right.
Because I was doing something in the community with other I was managing a comedian at that time, Willie Asbury. And we were coming, me and you probably seen each other at a high school.
At a high school. You had him in high school. Yeah.
And you were sharp enough as a young dude to say, whoa,
always has been.
This dude knows how to manage. He knows how to coordinate.
That's right.
I need to get with him. And then you came and introduced yourself to me and told me what you was doing, and only because of your aunt, because of your mother, who I know, your other family, had raised you to an extent that you had manners, you had respect.
Yes, he knew.
Because you know me, I don't mess with everybody.
No way.
And so you came right, as they say.
Some of the seniors, some of our elders said, we don't know you. Of course, they never listened to Lords of the Underground music or anything like that. So they didn't really support me.
Exactly.
But when I started to tell them, I am the result of your prayers.
All right now.
I am the youth, the young guy in the community that you prayed would do well, that you prayed would not fall victim or succumb to the things in this community. So the reason why I found Hafiz Fareed is because I was in search of things that I wanted to become.
Exactly.
So I would search for those things and I would see him. He was around art. He was around entertainment. He was around goodness. So I wanted to be that. So I had to search for that, since the people in my family that were male that I looked up to weren't around. I had to go in search of that. Exactly. So I am the result of your prayers. I'm getting a little hungry, so I just want to take a break. We're going to continue this conversation, and we're going to put some food on our plates.
Right.
This is Conversations with Councilman Kelly, special love edition, love for the city, Mr. Hafiz Fareed, and my beautiful aunt, Carol Bethel. So what are some of the things that you want to see for our elders, our youth, from speaking from an elder standpoint in our city today, and holding it down for the ancestors that came before us?
Universe puts people together. Sometimes it's beyond art. Like we say,
I agree.
God is good. It happens. And it happens mainly because you're on the same vibration, same train of thought. And Ralph Grant, Dr. Grant, he came into the community around A Street.
Yes, he did.
Before he was a politician, before he was an elected official, he was a public servant. Dr. Grant became a central figure in you getting into Shaw University because he was an alumni of Shaw. And one thing to answer your question, what we like to see, I'd like to see that program come back. He was a councilman who used to take 2 bus loads of young people from North every year down to a historically Black university. So he would take that out of his discretionary budget, and these young people would get on the bus with chaperones, and that's how they got introduced to college.
I try to let our seniors, our elders know that we are here for them. We are here for our community. It's going to take, when I ran for councilman, I wanted to let them know that I can't do it alone, no matter whoever they put into office. They can't do it alone, that it's going to take us together to do it. But we cannot forget our elders.
Exactly.
We cannot do it without our elders. We cannot do it without our seniors. We cannot do it with the people who know what this city looked like before. So what are some of the things, Aunt Carol, when you first mentioned Newark and what love looked like in Newark, what are some of the things that you would like to see happen in Newark that you can tell is coming out of that can really display the love for our city? What are some of the things that you would like to see?
To bring a lot of the programs back for the children, for the younger generation to go to, like centers like, the different centers where they could go and feel themselves and find themselves and all that education, the education that they need. Like some children don't know how to read, and they have a program where for them to come after school or whatever to learn how to read and all of that, and different games and stuff, and just education, more educational stuff.
So what I hear you saying though is, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, you said you would like to see more centers, but more education after school.
Yes.
So are you implying that school is not enough for our youth?
No, it's not. They got to, just like you had to do. You did. They got to go out there and find themselves, like you had, like all of us had to do, have to do. Go and find ourselves. Sometimes you can't find it at home because you're either under strict rulings or and all the
I know. My mother wasn't having it, so I know.
And then you might not can express, kids might not can express what they want to express to express themselves to their family like they can do it to him or you and all of that. A mentors. They need more mentors.
So let me break it down. So recreation, mentorship, after school education, and I'm going to get to you, Hafiz, but before I just want to say if it looks like I'm smacking on camera, that's probably because I am. I'm tearing this food up. It is amazing. Once again, I want to thank Sun Island Plate. I also want to thank Sprouts Juice because no sugar, all fruit. It just comes from the fruits and the vegetables. It's amazing. And I want to thank this space that we're in, Aquaba Art Gallery. I lived right around the corner from this place when it wasn't an art gallery. And I just want to say thank you to Miss Laura for allowing us in the space.
Art and culture is essential. Shakespeare said one time that art is food for the soul. So just like we're eating food here for the body, but art is food for the soul. And it's art that saved you.
Most definitely.
It's art that saved me. In this city at one time, was a mecca for art.
That's right.
Your aunt knew that it was jazz. This is the first city in the country that had a jazz label called Savoy Records. Savoy, go right downtown to Rutgers, and it's documented there. It was a record company that promoted jazz artists and gospel artists. They ripped off most of them, but But this city was full of jazz music. This is where Sarah Vaughan comes from. This is where Woody Shaw comes from. This is where Whitney Houston comes from.
Right.
And so athletes, sports, art at one time was at the very center of this city.
My intent is really to come into the West Ward councilman position, being here a year and a half now, and to leave it better than it was when I got here.
Exactly. And you can do it because you care. You care that much too.
But my caring and love starts with asking questions to you who have been in this city for before me. My mother always tells me, I'm from Newark before you was from Newark.
Right.
You know your sisters.
That's right.
So she tells me that. But this city, my partners in Lords of the Underground, Lord Jazz has an amazing house in Miami. Mr. Funk, my rap partner for life, he has an amazing crib in Northern California. I'm in one of my buildings in here, but I'm not saying that as a bad thing.
No.
I'm saying it is because I choose to be here.
There you go.
I choose to represent my city, but I only do that because of the love that was instilled in me from people like the both of you. To love your city, it means to take an active role in improving your community by participating in local events, supporting local businesses, and volunteering for local causes. That was one of my answers.
That's
I said,
fantastic.
Loving your city means that when you love your city, it also includes and involves caring. You talked about caring a lot.
That's
for
right.
its natural environment,
Exactly.
promoting sustainability. That's one of my biggest things. How do we sustain the love? And supporting initiatives that aim to make the city more eco-friendly, and other initiatives like the project that you're doing. That's an initiative not just for the city, but for the country. I said my third answer to what does loving your city mean? It means fostering a sense of inclusivity and diversity by respecting and appreciating the different cultures. In the West Ward, we have so many diverse cultures, from African to Haitian to Latino to Latina. It's traditions and perspectives. By being councilman, I learned that different cultures, they might shop differently at a grocery store than you might.
They do.
So I learned that the makeup of the city and the population, you have to be intentional. Loving your city also involves actively engaging in local politics. My team told me to stop saying I'm not a politician, because a boxer, when he gets in the ring and he gets punched in the face, he's boxing. He's a boxer.
Right.
So if I am entering this arena, I have to claim with the rules of engagement. Exactly. Right? So I understand that now. When I didn't really understand that as much as when I was just advocating, for positive change in the areas such as our infrastructure and our education and our social welfare as well. Loving our city also means being a good neighbor. You talked about neighbors. You talked about being a good neighbor and looking out for one another. Exactly. You talked about that has been a lost thing. And creating a sense of unity and belonging within the community. All right? Because sometimes we don't feel like we are together. And last but not least, loving our city should entail preserving and celebrating its history. You talked about its history. I learned a lot from you talking about history, not just at this table, but throughout my life. I've been with you probably over 30 something years now, and I've learned a lot from just talking about how much the history is. You're probably one of a few reasons that I'm still in this city.
Loving the people in spite of themselves.
So loving your city from Mr. Hafiz Fareed is loving the people in spite of themselves. Auntie, we call her Aunt CB, Aunt Carol. Last sentence or two. What is loving your city?
Just like I said, caring and looking out for everyone. Trying to get them to come back together or stay together to run the city correctly. Or that's the correct way and a good way. I'll just leave it at that. I'm sleepy now. I'll be up sitting up since 5:30.
So caring, unity, respect.
Thank you. Yes.
I'm Councilman Kelly. This is Conversations with Councilman Kelly. This is my first. And how do you love your city?